This is the Solid Signal podcast for the week of February 5th, 2018. And folks, it's going to be Olympic season, but actually kind of is. Before you know it, there will be nothing on TV but Olympics, Olympics, Olympics. Back about, 6 years ago or so, I railed against NBC's coverage of the Olympics because I thought they were incredible morons for not putting more international coverage on and for not knowing who Sir Tim Berners-Lee is, the person who literally invented the World Wide Web. And to an extent, I think they are morons, and I think they should have known who that was. But joke was on me because they had gigantic amounts of ratings that year and every year since. It seems like NBC's investment in the Olympics was a good one after all. But of course, that's not going to stop me from ranting a little bit more. It's 6 years later, and after all, hey, it's my blog and it's my podcast, so I get to say, within reason, whatever I want. You know, my first thought is that I really am at the point where I think the Olympics just aren't necessary. I mean, sure, they're necessary for ratings, especially if you like figure skating. But believe me, there's enough channels out there, there's enough sports content out there that if you want to get this same kind of stuff year-round, you're going to get it. And there's world championships and national championships. The Olympics simply are not special. There was a time 30, 40 years ago when you just didn't see this kind of sports content. There just weren't that many channels out there, so you didn't see it. And today that's all changed. The Olympics itself has gone through a number of changes. I remember back in the early 90s, you had this kind of push to try to make the Olympics more commercial. They allowed more professional athletes in. They tried to make it more exciting. They softened up on certain rules, and that did kind of help, and that kind of made it more fun. But in the end, I think the Olympics is a great idea that's turned into a loser in the real world. Just ask any of the cities who spent billions and billions of dollars on Olympic stadiums only to have them fall apart into total disrepair within a year. If you don't believe me, Google what does the Rio Olympic Stadium look like now, and you realize that since that stuff, and then we're talking about 2 years ago, since that stuff was built, it's just fallen apart. It looks like it's being reclaimed by the jungle because nobody is using it. There's always this plan to try to, we're going to repurpose this and we're going to repurpose that. It never happens. The Olympics is a money loser for the city that builds it. Whether it's a money maker for NBC, well, they don't necessarily say, but they sure do get the ratings out of it. I don't know if people actually watch the commercials during the Olympics, if they're actually watching live, if they're captivated by stuff, or if they DVR it. But certainly one thing you can say for sure is that they have the ability to DVR it. I remember sitting there trying to watch the Winter Olympics back in 1994, and you didn't have the ability to time shift unless you were really a kind of an advanced person at that time. You didn't have the ability to really record one thing while you were watching the same thing at a different time. And so if you wanted to see those figure skating championships that everybody's still talking about, you had to watch them live. And you had to sit through a lot of people just kind of talk, wonder when the figure skating was going to come on, stay up as late as you possibly can, sit through every single commercial. Folks, it's just not like that anymore. And I'm sure it costs an awful lot of money now to produce the Olympics, far more than it ever did, because now you have HDTV and 4K and streaming and all these other technologies and everything that everybody expects today that they just weren't expecting in 1994. I don't know how much of the Olympics I will watch. I will watch the opening ceremonies, and then, as I have since every opening ceremony, pretty much since 2006 or so, maybe even earlier. I guess since the Atlanta Games, really, I guess if you think about it, I'm just going to go, what were these people thinking? This is weird. This is strange. I'm bored. Everybody's walking out, and I don't know what half these sports are, and I guess I'm ignorant, but whatever. And I'll watch it, I'll complain, I'll move on with my life. And then there won't be anything on broadcast television, and it will be a great opportunity for me to catch up on some of the great streaming stuff that's out there on Amazon Prime and Hulu and even Netflix, which I'm not a huge fan of anymore, if you read my blog. Anyway, that was my quick rant about the Olympics. I hope you all have a great week, and do me a favor, leave me a comment if you think that I'm completely off base here.